Hello YouTube. So yeah, just wanted to make a quick tour video of the car that I just bought. So yeah, as you can see, it's a C63 AMG. It's a 2009, so yeah, it's an earlier model. But basically how it happened was like this. I wasn't planning on getting a car until the summer sometime. But this one showed up at my local Audi dealer, and it was such a good price that I knew I needed to jump on it. Now, originally I was thinking that my car of choice was going to be an E92 M3. I test drove a 2009 M3 back-to-back with this car, and that was a super interesting experience. And basically the reasons that I ended up choosing this was the price and the engine. This was a bit less expensive than the M3, and well, I mean, the M3 was a quick car for sure, but this was quicker than I was expecting. You know, the M3, it sounded amazing once the revs got up above around 6,000 RPM. But you know, in terms of straight line performance, it was kind of what I was expecting. This definitely surprised me in terms of its straight line performance. It's a beast. I think, you know, 450 horsepower is its factory rating on 440 torques. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it's underrated, because I've driven a couple fast cars, and this feels like more considering it's a 3,900 pound car. So like I said, it's a 2009, so it's an earlier C63. The W204 ran from 2008 to 2015, I believe, was the last year. But this thing is super clean inside and out. I don't think the back seat has like ever been sat in, really. It's pretty much perfect. It's a two-owner car. Well, by two owners, two previous owners. I'm the third owner. I have full history records. This thing has had 0 mechanical issues and no accidents. It's got 89,000 kilometers on it, which is about 55,000 miles, I believe, if you're American. So, you know, that's kind of average mileage for this car for being, you know, 8 years old as well. But I mean, the Audi dealer in town is owned by the same people who own the Mercedes dealer, so it's had a completely, you know, really thorough inspection, full service obviously, and this thing drives super tight. Everything works perfectly. There's no weird noises from anything. Yeah, I think it's definitely one of the cleaner examples you could find. Being a first-gen C63, obviously the one issue that these cars potentially have that everyone talks about is the head bolt issue. I guess it would be appropriate at this moment for me to pop the hood. So there is the good old M156, which is now out of production, of course. One of the great engines. It's certainly one of the best engines Mercedes has ever produced. But anyway, the head bolt issue is the one potential issue affecting this car. But, you know, again, I think it's one of those issues that, you know, everyone talks about, but most people haven't actually experienced. You know, I think the actual number of like 08 to 10 C63s that have actually had this problem is like 1 or 2%. I'm considering doing the head bolts at some point on this car, just as precautionary measure, of course. This thing is bone stock, super clean inside and out, and I'm pretty stoked on it so far. A little bit dirty at the moment, but I mean, it's still spring here in BC and wet. So, I mean, the only thing that I don't like about this car is the fact that it doesn't have the, I believe it was called the P31 Performance Package. The main thing that package included was a limited slip differential. So yeah, this car doesn't have a limited slip diff. It's got an open diff, which means that in the wet, it's really impossible to put down any real power. Like, I picked this car up about a month ago, and it was raining that day, and the amount of traction, or lack thereof, was rather hilarious. Just how easily the traction control would cut in. But if I do any mods to this thing, that's the one thing I'm going to be doing first, is an LSD. I know there's lots of good aftermarket options out there. So here we are inside. Now, the C63 got a substantial facelift in 2012. The main thing that they changed really was the design of the interior. They just changed the design of the doors and the dash and everything, you know, just to give it a bit more of a, like, even more upscale feel. But I mean, I have no complaints about this whatsoever. I mean, I love the big leather door handles. I love the gauges. The layout of everything is nice. There is a fair bit of plastic in here on the dash and on the door. But I mean, it's all like this sort of squishy, rubbery, high quality plastic. So it's definitely not displeasing, I would say. I like the flat bottom steering wheel. You know, one thing I like about the old interior better is, even though it looks slightly dated, I kind of like the fact that the sat-nav / radio is fold away. You can hide it. You don't have to look at another screen if you don't want to. But probably my favorite thing about the interior are the seats. They are extremely supportive while being very comfortable at the same time. I really like the fixed headrests and with the AMG logo engraved in them. They're just, man, they're some of the, I mean, that's the one thing that I definitely liked better about this car than the M3, was the seats. So yeah, that's really all there is to say about this. Now, you know, I don't want the car that I happen to own at any given time to be the main focus of my channel. That's not what I'm choosing to focus on. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown, since I just picked this thing up and I'm pretty excited about it, especially considering the price that I got it at. So what I think I'm going to do now is put the camera down and just give you guys a tiny bit of noise. So yeah, thanks for checking out the video, and we will see you soon.